Have you ever wondered why cats seem to gravitate towards people who don't really like them? It's a curious phenomenon, isn't it? Picture this. You're at a party, and there's a cat. Now there's always that one person who's not particularly fond of felines, and yet like a moth to a flame, the cat seems irresistibly drawn towards them. It struts over, tail high in the air, and begins to rub against their legs, much to their chagrin. Or consider this. You visit a friend who has a cat. You're not a cat person, but for some reason this feline seems to have taken a peculiar interest in you, following you around, jumping onto your lap, purring and kneading away, seemingly oblivious to your discomfort. Intriguing, isn't it? So why do cats do this? What's going on in their furry little heads? Let's unravel this feline mystery. Let's dive into a story of Whiskers, the cat, and her human, Mr. Grumpy. Picture a quiet suburban neighborhood where the sun shines bright and birds chirp merrily. Here, in a cozy little house, lives our friend Whiskers, a fluffy orange tabby cat with sparkling green eyes. Now, Whiskers is a cat of peculiar habits. She's not one for chasing yarn balls or lazing around in sunlit spots. No, Whiskers has a mission to win over the heart of her human, Mr. Grumpy. Mr. Grumpy, as his name suggests, is a bit of a curmudgeon. He's not a fan of felines, or for that matter, any kind of pet. He'd rather spend his days in his armchair with a mug of hot cocoa and an old detective novel. But Whiskers, oh, she won't have any of that. She's determined to melt that icy exterior of his. Every day, like clockwork, Whiskers would initiate her master plan. She would stealthily approach Mr. Grumpy, then with a swift leap land onto his lap. Mr. Grumpy would protest, of course, trying to shoo her away, but Whiskers, undeterred, would start her ritual, rubbing her head and body against him, purring loudly, her tail held high. Mr. Grumpy would grumble, he would groan, but Whiskers was relentless. She would rub and rub, as if she were trying to erase that grumpiness right off him. And despite his initial resistance, Mr. Grumpy would gradually settle, his protests fading into a resigned silence. After all, who could resist the adorable charm of a purring cat? In the end, Mr. Grumpy would find himself scratching Whiskers behind her ears, a small smile breaking through his gruff exterior. Whiskers, having achieved her daily victory, would curl up on his lap, purring contentedly. And so, despite Mr. Grumpy's clear discomfort, Whiskers continued her rubbing routine. But why? To understand Whiskers' behavior, we need to delve into the world of feline communication. Now, cats have their own unique language, a combination of body language, vocalizations, and physical contact, all of which play a major role in how they interact with their environment, including humans. Physical contact is a crucial part of cat communication. Ever noticed how a cat might rub against your legs or furniture? This isn't just a sign of affection. Cats have scent glands located in various parts of their body, including their cheeks, paws, and flanks. When they rub against objects or people, they're actually depositing their scent. This behavior, known as bunting, serves a dual purpose. It marks their territory, and at the same time, mingles their scent with yours, creating a shared, familiar scent that helps them feel secure and at home. But what about cats seeking attention from people who ignore them, like our friend Mr. Grumpy? This might seem counterintuitive, but there's a reason for it. Cats are observant creatures and they take note of human behavior. When a person is indifferent or ignores them, cats often interpret this as non-threatening behavior. They don't perceive any hostility or fear, which makes them feel safe. So they're more likely to approach and interact with such individuals, sometimes much to the person's chagrin. Also, it's worth mentioning that cats are naturally curious creatures. When someone ignores them, it piques their curiosity. They want to investigate and figure out why this human isn't showering them with attention like the others. It's almost like a game to them, a challenge they can't resist. So, in essence, Whiskers was just trying to claim Mr. Grumpy as her own and saw his indifference as a sign of peace. She wasn't trying to annoy him or invade his personal space. In her own cat way, she was just trying to form a bond and feel secure in her environment. Just another day in the fascinating world of feline communication. It's been quite a journey into the world of cats, hasn't it? We've delved into the delightful enigma of feline behavior, pondered over the peculiarities of our furry friends, and even explored the riveting tale of Whiskers and Mr. Grumpy. It's been an expedition of discovery. And now, let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. Cats, as we've discovered, are not just your average pets. They're a bundle of quirks wrapped in a fur coat. Their behavior, interestingly enough, is more complex than we've ever imagined. They're not just rubbing against things because they're itchy or because they're trying to get your attention. Oh no, there's an entire language behind those seemingly random actions. Remember the tale of Whiskers and Mr. Grumpy? It wasn't just a charming story about a grumpy old man and an adorable cat. It was a real-life illustration of the cat-human dynamic at play. Whiskers didn't just randomly decide to annoy Mr. Grumpy. There was a method to his madness. He was marking his territory. Yes, that's right. When cats rub against things, or people in this case, they're essentially saying, "This is mine." It's their way of leaving their scent and claiming ownership. So Mr. Grumpy wasn't just a grumpy old man in Whiskers' eyes, he was his human. And that brings us to our final revelation, the secret language of feline communication. Cats communicate through a complex system of body language, vocalizations, and yes, even rubbing. They're not trying to annoy you or get under your skin. They're simply trying to express their feelings and establish their presence. They're saying, "Hey, I'm here and you're my human." So next time a cat rubs against you, remember, you're not being pestered, you're being claimed.